Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we had started the discussion over the salient features of the Indian Constitution. Okay. And basically these are the topics that we have scheduled for the discussion under this particular series. Like starting with the introduction part, then the salient features of the Constitution, then the criticism of the Constitution, thereafter the schedules of the Constitution at a glance, thereafter the sources of the Constitution at a glance. Okay. So these are the topics that we have scheduled. Out of this, basically we have done with the introduction. Since last few lectures, basically we have been discussing about the salient features of the constitutions. And the topics that we are completely left with is the criticism of the constitution, the schedules of the constitution at a glance, and the sources of the constitution at a glance. Okay. So that is the overall picture that we have created so far altogether. So basically in this lecture, we are going to start from where we had left in the previous lecture. But as I have told you, like you are required to revise the previous lectures before you going for the another lecture. Okay, because the things are very much similar to each other and the things are interdependent to each other. Okay, so if you are not revising the previous one and you are directly going to the next one, then what will happen? There are two chances that first you will forget what you have learned, or second you might be end up by mixing them all. Okay, because you just only look at the video, you just only grasp the video, but you haven't revised them. Okay, so that's why this type of things could be happen with you, and these are not a good thing if we talk about the examination point of view and if you want to take the good marks. All right, so let's start from where we had left. So basically we had started the secular state in the previous lecture. All right, and we had covered till here. Okay, so now we will continue from here. Okay, so thereafter the next thing is that every religious denomination or any of its section has the right to manage its religious affairs as per the article 26. Okay, like if we talk about the religious denomination, so it is a broad term. Okay, so whether the religious denomination as a whole, or you can say the minor or the smaller section of it, if they want to manage their religious affairs in the way they want it to be, so basically they having the right to manage as per the article 26. Okay, thereafter if we look at the another thing, so no person shall be compelled to pay any taxes for the promotion of particular religion as per the article 27 of the constitution. So basically what does it mean, like what is the meaning of taxes to be paid and all? Okay, so basically if we want to connect this with today's scenario, so basically we are required to go through the history. Okay, like the question of this lies in the history. Okay, so if we talk about it, so we know that in the medieval India, or you can say during the medieval Indian history, during the medieval Indian history, what happened? Like the outsiders, or you can say like the Muslim invaders, attacked on various parts of the country. Okay, and there were so many battles which were fought. Like there was a very famous battle which was happened in 1192. Okay, the battle was okay 1092. I'm not. You can say that might that was the year. Okay, and the battle was second battle of the reign. Okay, it's 1192. You could check the year by the Google. Okay, at that was the second battle of the reign. Okay, so this second battle of the reign was the actual, you can say, battle which was fought between the two rulers, like the Prithviraj Chauhan versus Muhammad Gauri. Okay, in which the Muhammad Gauri appeared as a winner. Okay, and this battle was the main reason which led to the formation of Muslim rule in India. Okay. So when the Muslims, and you can say the outsiders, okay, when the outsiders came to India, basically, okay, so they had implemented the policy like if someone is non-Muslim, okay, if someone is non-Muslim in their territory and the person wants to continue his religion, okay, then the person is required to pay taxes or tribute to the state or the ruler. So the person, if he is a non-Muslim, then he is required to pay taxes or tribute to the state or the ruler of that area. Okay, and that particular tax was known as the jizya. Okay, so remember the jizya was a tax which is required to be paid by the non-Muslims for the sake of continuous to their religious practices within the territory of the outsiders. All right, that was the system. But when we establish India in the modern sense, basically we abolish this. Okay, like anyone who is the citizen of India, okay, residing in India, the person belongs to whichever religion is not required to pay any tax for the sake of the continuance of his religion as per the article 27. Like if you are Hindu, if you are Muslim, if you are Christian, if you are Jain, if you are Buddhism, if you are Sikh, okay, and if you belong to any other religion, then you are not required to pay any taxes to the state so that you will be allowed to practice your religion. Okay, that thing is prohibited and abolished by the article 27 of the Indian Constitution. Thereafter, no religious instruction shall be provided in any educational institution maintained by the state, article 28. Okay, like you can say, if the state or the government is running any educational institution, okay, then no religious instruction. It means that the government will not promote any particular religion and any particular instructions belong to any particular religion in the educational institution. Okay, that thing has also been prohibited by the article 28 of the Indian Constitution. Then any section of the citizen shall have the right to conserve its distinct language, script, or culture as per the article 29. Okay, like if we talk about it, there are always two groups in the society, the majority and the minority. Okay, so if we talk about the majority, so majority generally do not have any kind of pressure, any kind of thing in relation with their language, script, or culture. Why? Because there are many people who are carrying this to the next generations. But when we talk about the minority, so the one thing which is clear here is that the minority is always in the lesser ratio. What does it mean? It means that they are only few in numbers. Okay, so generally they face the challenges while maintaining their distinct language because their language is not the language of masses or the more people. Thereafter, the script or the culture. Why? Because these things are only following by the few people. Okay, so that's why in India, basically, we not only promote the religion but we also promote the culture, or you can say protect, not promote. Okay, it means that we just not only protect the religion but also protect the custom and culture. All right. So the article 29 allows the citizens who belong to the any minority section or the majority section to maintain their distinct language, script or culture. Thereafter, article 30, all minorities shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. Okay, like there is any minority group existing in society, they want to establish and they want to administer their own education institution, so they are allowed as per the article 30 of the constitution. Okay, and then comes the state shall endeavor to secure for all the citizens as a uniform civil code, article 44. Okay, now let me tell you one thing. All these article 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30, these all are the fundamental rights. Okay, these all are enforceable in the code. While when we talk about the uniform civil code, then it is article 44, and that is basically belong to the DPSP. Directive principles of state policy. Okay, so basically what do you mean by the uniform civil code if we talk about it? Okay, uniform civil code. Okay, so if we talk about it, then it is a common set of instructions provided to all citizens irrespective of their caste, religion or culture. Okay, like if we talk about it, then we know the society in which we are living, the society is not homogeneous society, right? What does it mean? It means that what are your beliefs, what are your customs, what are your culture, what is your religion, what is your caste and all. Okay, that is not similar to your neighbors. Your neighbors will belong to the different aspects. Okay, so society in which we are living in is not homogeneous, but that is then heterogeneous, right? Heterogeneous society. So basically what is happening, that this concept basically you can say brings the challenges before the law. Why? Because whatever the law the legislature will pass, the law will have the different implications to the different castes, different religion, different cultures. Okay, and that's why there will be a different judgments for the different things. And we know in India basically we try to ensure the unity and the commonality for all. Okay, and this could not be done until the caste, religion or the cultures will be running by the different set of instructions. So that's why there is a uniform civil code which is included under the DPSP, which means that it is the responsibility of the government that they should pass some common set of instructions, okay, to all the citizens irrespective of their caste, religion or culture, so that the uniformity throughout the country could be ensured. Okay, that's the thing. All right, but what happened? Like we had got the independence in 1947, Since 1947 till now, even the Uniform Civil Code has not been applied to the country. Why? Because the India is not a single, or you can say the homogeneous society, but it is a heterogeneous society, and it is a world's largest heterogeneous society. So due to this, there are so many, you can say, hurdles. There are so many things which we require to keep in mind while formulating any policy regarding the Uniform Civil Code. Okay. However, there is a one interesting fact, like in the 1897. Okay, in the 1897, basically the Portuguese Portuguese Uniform Civil Code was introduced in the state of Goa, because we know that the Goa was under the control of the Portuguese. So that was the year of 1897 when the Portuguese government of that time passed the Uniform Civil Code known as the Portuguese Uniform Civil Code at Goa. So Goa is the only state in this country which having the Uniform Civil Code which was provided by the Portuguese. Okay, so that's the thing. And remember, as we know, that TPSP are not enforceable in the court. Okay, so it means that to pass the Uniform Civil Code is basically depends upon the discretion of the government. Whether the government want to make the policy on it or not, the government could not be forced for it. All right. Thereafter, if we talk about the Western concept of secularism, that is a complete separation between the religion and the politics. Okay, it means that the government will not interfere in the matter of church or churches. Similarly, the church will not interfere in the movements of the government. Okay, but when we talk about this negative secularism, so basically that is the concept which is inapplicable in the Indian situation where the society is multi-religious. Why? Because if we talk about church, then we know the church is a belong to the Christian religion. Okay, so the Western secularism is that the government is not promoting any religion and the government is not participating into the affairs of any religion. So there is a complete separation. Okay, but when we talk about India where the society is multi-religious, so basically we could not practice this negative concept of secularism in our country. So hence the Indian constitution embodies the positive concept of secularism, therefore giving equal request to all religions or protecting all religions equally. It means that when we talk about India, so the picture is not like this. Like the government, it's not like this that they will never interfere into the matters of the religious institution. No. If the government find it's necessary, then the government will intervene into the religious institutions matter. Okay, like if we talk about Hinduism, so we know in the Hinduism there is a caste. Okay, so to secure the religious right of all castes, the government could formulate the policies. Similarly, if we talk about Muslims, then we know in Muslims there is a huge difference between the man and woman. Okay, so if the woman's rights will be hampered, then the government will intervene. Similarly, the other things could be taken up to the other religions as well. Okay, so in India, the government is not fully separated from the religion. The government is not going to promote any religion. But whenever the government finds that this is the time, then we should intervene into the religious affairs, then the government could do it for the welfare of the society. Okay. Moreover, the constitution has also abolished the old system of communal representation. What does it mean? We know basically in the 1909, the communal representation was introduced in India. Okay, like if someone is to be elected to the legislative councils of the Viceroy and the person is Muslim, So only the Muslim voters could vote for him. Okay, and this provision was further increased in the 1919, when this was not only limited to the Muslims, but Sikhs, Christians, Muslims, Europeans, and Anglo-Indians also. Okay, so that was a thing. So basically, this communal representation, which was based on the religious basis, that was also removed by the Indian Constitution. That is reservation of seats in the legislature on the basis of religion. However, it provides for the temporary reservation of seats for the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes, okay, belong to whichever religion, ensure the adequate representation to them. Okay, it means that instead of based on the religion, now this reservation is based on the caste and the deprivate society. Thereafter, if we talk about the another term, which is the universal adult franchise, what is the meaning of this? Universal adult franchise. So basically, if we talk about it, then we know after the 1909 Indian Council Act, and then we know in 1990 there was an another Indian Council Act. Okay, so what happened in this act? Basically, people got allowed to vote in general elections to elect persons for legislative councils and executive councils. Okay, like the people got allowed to vote in general elections to elect the persons from legislative councils and the executive councils, but not every Indian. There was a criteria like how much property the person held, how much tax the person pays to the government, how much education the person has received. So, on the basis of this, the person could be find their names in the electoral rolls, and you can say on the basis of these criteria only they have the voting rights. Okay, but when we got independence, basically the first thing we did is that we abolished this specific adult franchise and converted it to the universal adult franchise. What is the meaning of this? So the constitution adopts the universal adult franchise as a basis of elections to the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies, because these are the places where the direct elections held in which the general people could participate. So it means every citizen who is not less than the 18 years of age. It means the voting age, the minimum voting age in India is the 18th year of age, has the right to vote without any discrimination of caste, race, religion, sex, literacy, wealth, and so on. Okay, it means that there is no parameter to nominate anyone as an voter. Okay, and thereafter the another thing which we did here is that the voting age was reduced to 18 years, which was earlier the 21 years, and this was happened in the 1989 by the 61st Constitutional Amendment Act of 1988. So remember this thing. In 1989, there was the general elections happened in the country. Okay, before this in the 1988, what happened? Like the voting age was reduced from 21 to 18 years. Okay, the introduction of universal adult franchise by the constitution makers was a bold experiment and highly remarkable in the view of the vast size of the country, huge population, high poverty, social inequality, and the overwhelming literacy. Like we know, there is a huge population in this country, and also there is a huge poverty. So if we go by the property and taxes wise, the large number of peoples will remain the persons who do not having the voting rights. Similar with the social equality and the overwhelming illiteracy. Okay, so the universal adult franchise makes democracy broad-based, enhances the self-respect and the prestige of the common people because they having the voting rights. They by themselves could adopt the persons who will run their country for the specific period of time. They upholds the principles of equality, enables the minorities to protect their interest and open up new hope and vistas for the weaker sections. Okay, so that's the thing. So students, basically in this lecture we have finished till here. In the next lecture we will continue from here. Till then, just revise the facts and figures that all we have discussed in this lecture and be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say thank you.